All right, guys. So here's what I think in Apex Legends needs to make as far as some of the rank changes. These are things are my ideas that I've always thought about since a lot of us that play ranked are more than the casual players, especially the pros. They only mainly grind ranked. They play a little bit of pubs and some of the LTMs, which are fun to get warmed up, get loose, understand the gun mechanics, the recoil patterns, all that. But when it comes to rank, this is where I think a lot of the community is struggling, especially the more non-casual players where they're really grinding to get the highest, predator rank. So my idea is one, I think what you should do is in ranked is where if you have ever made, let's say, diamond tier, right, which is less than like 1% on apexlegendstatus.com, right? What you should do is the Apex EA should say, hey, if you made diamond, here's the criteria that you have to have. One is it's an entry to be diamond. You have to actually make it at least once in the, you know, previous seasons so they can look at your record as far as your badges. Secondly, is I think there's definitely should be like a KD. That should be your skill matchmaking, right? So basically, your KD should be at least a 1.3 or 4, and you maintain that range, at least in the higher lobbies. Because the higher lobbies, most of those players are very smart. They understand the rotations, they understand the maps, they understand the macro and the micro skills, the technical skills. They know how to lead their teams. They're aware when to take a gunfight, when to not, right? When to push, when not to push, things like that. A lot of the lower players, like the gold, the silvers, and the bronze, the rookies, a lot of them don't really play ranked. If you watch them very closely in some of the videos that you watch or some of the cool clips they do, they rarely understand gun mechanics. They really understand, the BR mode and how to play team. Like BR, Battle Royale, is a team game. Even though the drops and the gear is all 50-50, however, you need to play together. You need to communicate. You need to watch for angles, your line of sight, you know, play your legends correctly. A lot of those lower lobbies do not even half the time use their passive abilities. It's a very weird to see where a lifeline is not rezzing or using the drone. They're just running around like a regular, Bangalore going out there and just trying to, be in the front lines. She's not the some of these legends that play lifeline are not being support players. So I think when it comes to rank, though, back going to that conversation as far as like um, making sure that the lobbies are somewhat fair, versus pre-stack, people that are, true predators. I played against some of the pros in some of my lobbies, and I look at the, kill feed, and it's just like, geez, I'm going to get wrecked here, right? Like I'm a good player, but not compared to those guys that grind 12, 14-hour days. So I think it'd be cool to kind of see more of like a badge entry where if you place those, then the criteria is like, hey, have you been a diamond before? Have you been a masters or pred? And your KDs are above these extra range. That way, then you can enter those lobbies, and you're aware that these are going to be a lot more tougher. It's going to be a lot harder to be able to play in these games, and your teammates are going to also understand, hopefully, that this is a team game, and they're going to work with you, even if you solo queue. I don't think there's really a good way to fix solo queuing because unless they remove all people from teaming up in higher ranks, maybe after diamond they say, hey, you can no longer team up with your buddies. You have to solo queue. That could be an option. Or the other option I think about is if in the higher lobbies like Diamond, Masters, and Preds, or the previous where it can say, hey, do you wish to solo queue only, where everyone's solo queuing, or have the option say, hey, no, I want to solo queue and I want to play with people that are teamed up, made of two, pairs of two or three, whichever may be. So maybe you have that option because they say that there's not enough player count, which is not true. Like there's still over 100,000 active players, especially on the weekends. It's more versus the weekdays. So, and the more dedicated players, the non-casuals, they're willing to wait. As long as they need to make sure what they're looking for. Because again, it's like every 10 games you get one good teammate, two good teammates. The rest of the time is they're running off their own or they're partied up and you're the third wheel, which is you're the solo queuer. I've had a lot of games where even in plats and diamonds where I'm trying to communicate, let them know, like, hey, we need to push or hey, we need to reset or rotate. They're not even listening because they're in their own party, their own Discord channel or whatever they may be. So I think it's super important. I think there's got to be a way to, eliminate some of the headaches, things like that, get rid of cheaters. That's going to be an ongoing battle in every freaking game. But I think maybe doing like a badge entry where you previously hit those previous seasons, your stats, are consistent. And also in the new changes where they're showing you how many different ranks are in your lobby, like if you're gold, it's going to show you how many golds, silvers, and bronze, and how many rookies. What they should do is if you're a diamond, you only play like diamond only. like diamonds and masters only. If you're pred, it should be the majority of masters and other pred players. What I've seen sometimes in these lobbies, which have been very random, I've been a diamond player this season on console, and I'll see like most of it is masters or it's mainly like plats only, and you're like the only team that's diamond. It makes no sense. Like you should be playing a little bit higher versus this tiered change. I think it should be only diamonds only because at that point, once you get to the higher tiers, it should be more viable and should be more realistic. Because again, you should have teammates that understand like getting to this point at a high level, especially diamonds and above. You see how they play. You can see the different skill sets between playing some of these, bronze lobbies, gold lobbies, silver, even plat. Like the majority of the season, if you were to look up the stats, you'll see that a lot of them are mainly just stuck in gold and plat. It's very rare to get above and beyond that because, again, you're going to need a team. Once you get to the higher lobbies like Diamond, Masters, and Preds, they all work as a unit. They all work with each other. They want to make sure that they don't get swamped and want to make sure that they're pushing aggressively at the right time and resetting, playing defensive as offensively. It's kind of a both situation, and they're reading the call outs, they're reading the map, they're reading the rotations. Like there's a lot more skills than just gun skills. Gun skills matter, but it's also a movement game. Apex is based on movement. You're constantly going, you're constantly looking for, gunfire, which is shoot to cover as you're moving and you're shooting, you're taking engagements, you're playing cover to cover. A lot of the lower lobbies, they just stand out in the open. I've had so many kills by them just standing out in the open doing reckless stuff, and they're not even paying attention because they don't really understand the mechanics. So like I said, maybe that's an idea. Let me know what you guys think as far as your thoughts. Maybe a badge entry would be an idea. That's just me trying to brainstorm to think what's a good way to save ranked and how to hopefully we don't continue to lose players over time so that Apex doesn't become a dead game. I'm a very big fan of this game and one of the best BRs I've played since season 9. And I also played beta. So I think this is, like I said, this is just an idea.